guys have like make your mind refreshed. And so I'm Prathmesh, and I'm like one of the engineers in like Everclear, recently re-announced as Everclear from Connects. There is a big narrative, that's why we re-announced, and that's going to be into the slides. Right now with this chain abstraction stack, we are seeing like there are so many chains and rollups that has been coming into modularity, and modularity has like their own way of dealing things. It has like the fragmentation problems. So what exactly modularity is, and where is the word that we are moving currently right now? We have 100 of chains that are coming into up. We have almost like 54 rollups and 257 or something around that, like live chains that are into the market, which is into DeFi and having trades going on across all the world. But what exactly, like what is the pain when we launch a chain? Like right now you have like Arbitrum Orbit and like Optimism SDKs, which can be used to like make any of the chains. So is it like that easy? Like I can just go integrate an SDK and do some buzzwords around the coding and I have a new chain, and so it is not like that. If you are a new chain, you have to face a lot of problem like how exactly are you going to manage the liquidity? So if you see like many of the chains, I won't take the name, but eventually like when they come into the market, they basically seed all the DeFi protocols, like they seed $1 million, $5 million, like just initialize the trade across all the DeFi platforms. And right now, centralized exchanges also do it. Like this small, they basically rent their money from Binance, and like they start a new chain and they rent some of the money and they have like their stakes percentages cut and all of those things that happens behind the picture. But is this like really a feasible way? Because the way we are moving towards rollups, A2s and N3s, there will be markets where like there are thousands of chains coming out. There will be a day when Binance will be out of pocket as well, and either they will stop lending people. So yeah, that is a big problem according to us. So I already covered this. And one of the way to solve that was like cross-chain, right? But cross-chain also has like their own deformities. You can say, like with cross-chain, previously when we were named Connects, the cross-chain was like one of our main goals. We used to have our settlement layers, modular layers, verification layers. Then we used to like have, like underlying chain security to verify all those bridges that is happening. But it is not that easy. Like if you even make this process, like as fast as possible, still like you have to go to at least like 2-3 hours. You have to maybe you go optimistic modes and you are like having certain levels of aggregated layers too. But again, like it is not a really fast way. And maybe you have a system where you have routers or something like that which are upfronting capital. Again, it takes 3-4 minutes. So we cannot expect a dApp where we have a button that basically does something on any other chain, and when we click it, it basically takes 3 minutes or 4 minutes, just to finalize. That sucks. So everyone, like who exactly faces this problem? Applications faces, as like I gave the example for like, if you click on a button on a app, it's gonna take time. Centralized exchange, yeah. Centralized exchange also has to somehow like bridge their money from the native bridge to make it happen, and then like they make the pricing curve and all of those things, which is like again a problem. If there are thousands of chains, they are gonna face it again. Bridges faces, like even us, we faced it, LPs, market makers, we all struggle about this. And in 2023, like being one of the early partners of this space and members of this space, we introduced chain abstraction that was being used by intents but not with the cake framework. So we actually like introduced the idea of like chain abstraction, which was the buzzword around that, but chain abstraction like started way ahead like in 2023. And if you see like one of the major protocols right now, which is chain abstracted, I guess everyone here like already heard the name of Renzo, right? So Renzo is chain abstracted. Like you can do staking from Arbitrum and everything, and that is powered by Everclear, formerly known as Connects, right? We helped them somehow around, like moving $1 billion of transaction from Arbitrum to Ethereum, which is huge. So, and And this happens all through using intent. So I'm just like want to know like how many of you are like aware of what exactly intent is. You are aware, and how, like, the better question would be how many of you are not aware of exactly what an intent is. Okay, I can see like there is a good number of people who don't know what exactly intent is. Let me go into a like very layman example, right? How many of you have been like used Uber? Like, I guess everyone who don't know intents, they have used Uber, right? Or Zomato, or maybe like Urban Clap. Like, these all are like actually intent protocols. So what exactly Uber is? You go and you basically say that to Uber that I'm at point A and I want to go to like point B. And this is an intent, a certain type of intent that you propose to Uber. And then like Uber takes your request. Uber basically processes everything. It basically calculates like how much money it's gonna cost to the driver, how much of petrol, and how exactly the car is. Is it like Go, it is premium, or it is like XL, whatever it is, right? So according to that, like Uber calculates that it takes their own fees as well, and then it basically takes you from point A to point B. And this is like what exactly an intent protocol is right now. We basically propose an intent that like an intent. I want 100 USDC on Polygon chain. I have 100 USDC on Ethereum. I want 100 on Polygon chain. So this is the intent that we are gonna propose in this new cake framework, or whatever you are saying, like Sockets, Mofa, or Uniswap X, like all the top level of like this chain abstraction stack. And then like these stacks basically gonna work with solvers, which can be bridges, which can be an arbitrary node, which is like upfronting the capital. So they are gonna do it, but users, they really don't have to care about anything. Like, I am getting my money on that chain. Yeah, that's it for them. So that's exactly like what intent is. But there is a catch, like in this particular part of the process. So here I talked about like on chain A you proposes something and you get it here on chain B. But what about this? Like, this is like a dirty secret of it, right? And here comes the big thing that every time someone is like consider this is anything like which is an intent protocol. Consider this is like Uniswap X or something like that. Right? So eventually, like, people are gonna like put $100 of money on this particular chain, and that $100 of money maybe could be locked in. And this log money could be like upfronted by the solvers, which users are actually getting. But the thing is, like, this 100 USDC that is being logged is to be reimbursed to the solver at any point. Of course, users are not facing it, but people who are running as solvers, they somehow have to settle this, right? Because the money that they have like upfronted on the destination, they need it back. Otherwise, like, there is a unidirectional flow, no sense for anything. So yeah. So that is the thing. We are missing, still, yes, missing the key ingredient for it. A shared system for everyone to coordinate capital flows and settlement between chains. So what exactly this lines particularly means? We actually need a, like a shared system where, like all the solvers or all the entities that are like upfronting the capital could be, reimbursed and repaid, and, their net off can be settled in the most optimized manner, you can say. So I can also give you an example which I actually added. And yeah, there is this thing, like until unless there is no thing happening, like we won't achieve like the mass retail adoption until unless there will be like this liquidity fragmentation problem or anything. Consider Visa, like how many guys know how Visa works, like Visa card you guys use, like anyone know like how Visa card works? So like consider that like you are a gum lover and you basically go to every shop and you buy a gum, right? You just paid them $1 and you think I will get the gum. It is not actually like that. So eventually what happens is, like, when you basically, there are tons of bank and tons of users, right? So in the market, when basically you go and do anything on your credit card or something, or maybe even in the UPI, right? Anything, you basically give them that amount and those people are receiving it, but it is not happening like that. The real thing that is happening behind the hood is, like, when we put our card onto that transaction machine, there are certain level of settlement layers that basically, like, say that yeah, your transaction is correct, they actually verifies that you have that particular money, you have enough money on your account, and what you are doing is like actually correct. You are not like fraud proofing it. And when you basically get that money and they have verified it, they put that particular request that I'm transferring 10 rupees or 100 rupees to users, other users' bank, they basically keep that into an array or maybe queue, of course queue. So, but at the end of the day, after getting those monies in that queue, it's not like every time, like bank is like getting 10 rupees and it's instantly giving 10 rupees to bank, Axis Bank, consider, right? What they do is like maybe, at the end of the day, SBI will say that, I have like X number of transactions coming from Axis Bank, but I have Y number of transactions that went to Axis Bank. So we netted off, like now you own me that, like you owe me $1 million. So just give me $1 million and we are good. And this is how actually netting works in Visa, like at the end of the day. Now imagine a scenario, every time you are swiping, users are paying for it. So every time banks are actually doing the transaction, do you think that servers can handle that? Of course no. It will break. The cost of moving things will be more than what exactly the amount we are sharing. So that's why I think this is something that blockchain needs to, like crypto space needs to. We cannot do this, like we cannot have every time any transaction is going on, we are going on chain 1, chain 2, and going over all those things and like thinking like, yeah, you owe me $100, I owe you 110, and you're moving that money. We can just use like 110 minus 100, there is $10, and just do one single transaction, good. Like, very simple thing, right? So, a fun fact, like 80% average volume that we do today, right now, like this is from DeFi Lama, and there is like 89% on more to Binance, 85, 82 Ethereum. This could be actually netted out in within 24 hours. Like this is one of the biggest problem of this space and could be solved like within 24 hours if we actually start netting off. So we introduced like one of the new primitives in the market that are clearing layers. So what exactly is clearing layer? Clearing layers are decentralized networks that coordinate global netting and settlement of capital flows between chains. So actually this settlement could be done via like many ways, but of course like if you have a different certain level of interfaces, then how exactly people are gonna plug into it? You actually need a unified layer, which does all the clearing around the globe within actually all chains. So this is the basic example which actually I talked about, right? So Everclear is basically launched using Arbitrum Orbit stack, and we have like Gelato RAS support, and then it is secured by AWS. So this is a basic example. Like before netting, like J gives like $110 to K, then S gives like $110 to like K, and then M moves like $100 to S. So if we want to net this off, right now what happens, they return all the money, they gave it to each other. And that's how, like distribution happens. But like this is a simple thing, just give $10 to S. Yeah, that's it. We can like net off everything. So it actually reduced that 3 transactions across chains to only 1, right? Which is a significant amount of reduce. So yeah, Everclear, like the first clearing chain that we have been like creating right now. So yeah, so this clearing layer, where exactly this fits into the cake framework that we are talking about, because of course like this is the particular vision, like chain abstraction cannot ever be achieved by single entity. There are a lot of pieces. There are pieces like safe, near, avocado, one balance, particle. So these will be all account abstraction wallet. There could be like economy as well, right? And then there are second level where we are talking about sockets, MOFA that actually Rishabh introduced. So these are the intent layer which people are gonna be like put their intent request there in. So there is Uniswap, XORing, across, yeah, and then like there are solvers. Solvers could be like bridges. Across will be doing bridging, debridge, even connects. Yeah, connects is a solver as well. So when we will be participating in this particular stack, we will be acting as solvers if you see. And yeah, every bridge, basically every solver which are competing for transferring those amounts securely, they are actually a bridge. But in this particular stack, this is where like Everclear fits. At the end of the day, like when solving happens, we need some system to like net off all these transfers and like reduce the number of transactions that are gonna happen. And this is where like Everclear like fits into the picture. It works with transport protocols, modular blockchains, and centralized exchange as well. They can use this to like net off. Then yeah, as I already explained, think it as like the Visa network, what we are talking about right now. So again, like how exactly like clearing and netting. So by like tracking all the interchange flows as credits, and the Everclear can net off capital flows in different directions, minimizing the need for actual settlement. So yeah, like how many of you are aware of cow swap? So yeah, consider like there are n number of cow swaps, right? So I can like put it into like cross domains like x, y, and the pair of it into the n. So basically it could be like n square times of x plus y, right? And this basically like explains like how n cow swap will work. Now, what is programmable settlement? So there are so many protocols out there that basically does not agree how settling works. So they have like their own way of like settling things out. Like they don't maybe they don't want to use our algorithm. What are they like like your algorithm is not like really good and we want to like use ours or something like that. So they can like create one of the smart contracts and they can put that smart contract into our plugin layers. And then like they can use their own strategy as well, like from which they want to use like all these settlement things. And then like there is permissionless chain expansion. So we have like been partnered with Hyperlane and all of those protocols like IBC. We are gonna like use IBC, and then like the chain expansion could be like going as fast as like having a new chain within a day, and we won't even have the liquidity problem because we are netting off the systems. Yeah. So how does it actually like reduce it? So we actually did like a little bit of research. So we are like reducing 10x of total fees within the cake framework right now. 30% decrease for the gas fees because the number of transactions are reducing as I explained. 60% decrease in solvers fees because then solvers don't have to net off all their amount to each chain because they can like just take 2 chains or 3 chains and like net off there. So that actually reduce a lot of amount for solvers as well, and actually 99% of decrease in slippage. So ideally in theory there is no slippage, right? But we cannot ever say 100% to anything. So 99% of decrease in slippage. And this is like ease of use for everything, and then like permissionless chain expansion. So exactly what is it? Like is it a buzzword or something like that? Everclear team is like being one of the OGs into this space. So we actually built like first I2 real I2 that was like functional on 2018. Then on 2021 we have like our first intent-based bridging, which we started calling as like the fast path bridging, which was actually the network of routers which was upfronting the capital. Then in 2023, we actually pioneered the chain abstraction and also integrated with Benzo, and helped them moving like 1 billion of funds from Arbitrum to Ethereum. And now we are like introducing the first clearing layer, and yeah. So if you see like at a certain point we have like like 1.15 billion of TVL on our network, which was securely secured, and with a total communicative volume of 2.5 plus billions, or actually, yeah, 3/4. So yeah, our private testnet is live, and mainnet's deadline is on like Q3. So if you guys have any question, like feel free to shoot it off, and I will be taking the rest after this slide.
Yeah, hi. So how often does Everclear like settle transaction across networks? Is it like end-of-day settlement, or how is it?
So yeah, at the starting point, we are having something like going with all the settlement. We are actually thinking, we will settle this out within 46 hours, right, for any of the settlements. But the plan is to, like make this lesser than like 24 hours. So yeah, that I guess that answers.
And what networks do you plan on supporting?
Can you pardon?
Which networks?
Whatever right now is supported into Connect will be supported into Everclear. So there are like I guess 9 chains or something.
Okay, got it. And the Everclear network itself, that I kind of like, I guess, it's kind of foggy in my brain exactly how the Everclear network is communicating with the other networks.
Everclear network is like communicating with solvers to netting off. So it is the solvers that we are mainly communicating in, right? But this can